I don't like tattoos and my soon-to-be wife just got one in the worst place. I don't like tattoos. I don't think you're special for having one. I don't think you're a deep person for getting a random Chinese character on your skin, and I especially don't like those intricate big tattoos that cover up a lot of skin. I just don't like them. Having said that, I have friends that have all of the above, and that's fine. It's not on my skin, it doesn't bother me, and as long as we can talk about anything else, it's all fine. Enter my soon-to-be wife. We've been together for 5 years. She's painfully aware of my feelings, but still she wanted to have a tattoo before we marry, a symbol of us to carry with her. I didn't really like the idea, but what can I really do? I love her, and what harm can a tattoo do? We talked where she should have it done. The back of her wrist came as a suggestion, a shoulder, on her leg, on her back. She goes and has it done, and I can't be there with her because I have an important client visiting at work, and time off is impossible. She texts me during work. She tells me it's done, that she loves me. I ask for a picture of the end result. She tells me tonight. It'll be a surprise. So I finally get home, she's dolled up, super tight black dress, stockings, everything for a night of fun. She tells me to go have a shower and that she'll have dinner ready in the meantime. I ask to see the tattoo. She tells me later. I'm frustrated. I go and have a shower, come back and have dinner. Then we go to the fun stuff. I didn't see the tattoo on her wrist or legs, so I think to myself it's either on her back, upper thigh, or her shoulder. I'm fine with that. I undo the zipper in the back, then she returns and lets the dress down. Instant boner kill. She had done it on her chest, above her breasts. It's big and in your face. It leaks above her breasts, like on top of the breasts. It has thick contours. Yeah, this didn't go well with me. She completely ignored my opinions. She disregarded the places where we agreed that she could have it done. And it's a monstrosity of a tattoo in a place where I'll always have to see it if we make love or she wears a bikini or something that has cleavage. It also has something that is personal to me. Of all the things that she mentioned the tattoo will be, she never told me about this. She said that she wanted it to be a gift to me, to show me her dedication. I feel disrespected, ignored, like my wishes and desires have no meaning to her. To me, it shows that she thinks that my status will be in our relationship, that she'll just be able to go over anything I say and take drastic decisions without caring of the consequences. Well, a consequence of this is that I'm calling off the wedding. She's in freak out mode, says she thought I'd like it, that she wanted to show her dedication to me, that she will have it removed. Basically anything she thinks I want to hear. My side of the family is understanding of my reaction. They know my standing on this matter. Her side of the family is split. Her mother is more conservative, so her motives are not too straightforward. Her father is on my side. Her sister's all on dear sister's side. Her brother is neutral, doesn't want to get involved. To me, even if she gets the tattoo removed, it still shows her willingness to ignore my side of things, do things her way, then scramble and try to fix the eventual F-up. I can't have that in a relationship. The wedding is definitely off though. That decision I won't revert. What steps would you take regarding the relationship? We're going to continue with the wedding as planned. We realize that we still need to work on our communication, but we're also painfully aware how miserable we both were during this whole ordeal. This has been seen as our first serious fight. What happened? Insecurity. She had this idea that I don't think she's dedicated to our relationship. She wanted to prove it somehow. Turns out the end result wasn't something that she was happy with either. My initial reaction didn't help, and for the next few days things spiraled out of control. After the post, I decided that we need to sit down and put our ducks in order. I love her and she loves me, and there's no reason why we would not be able to untangle this mess. Why do I hate tattoos? All she knew is that I'm not a fan of them, but not the reason. When I was younger, a lot younger, I was horribly abused by someone who had many tattoos. I don't associate people that have tattoos with abusers, but I'm also not a fan of the tattoo culture because of it. She didn't know, because I never talked about it with her. I suppose I never wanted to think that I'm vulnerable, or that I was. You can imagine, after these many years, my thoughts on the matter are still mixed. Anyway, she was horrified to learn this and started crying. She'll have the tattoo removed. After the original post, I came to the conclusion that her new skin decoration is something that I'll have to deal with. But at the end of the day, she is the one I want, and a mild annoyance will not define our relationship. I told her this, but she said that she's going to get it removed anyway. I think she's horrified by the revelation. We also decided on couples counseling to see that if it's something that'll work for us. If either of us will be uncomfortable, we won't continue. We also decided not to be a-holes to one another in petty matters. We'll put a lot of work into ourselves individually and as a couple. Turns out, we have a problem with communication, but the prospects are still positive. My fears were that she had the tattoo done as a power play, but there was no malice. I want a relationship of equals, where a decision can be made as a couple. We'll see where this is going, but the last 2 days have been amazing.
My girlfriend, 27 female, did the sweetest thing for my brother, 9, and now I know she's the one. My parents moved him to another school towards the end of the school year, and he had trouble making friends. He still invited his whole class to his birthday party. That was on Friday, but nobody came. None of the kids. It was really heartbreaking to see all of the empty tables when he was really looking forward to it. My girlfriend of 4 years decided to call her brothers, asking them to come over, and she took off to go pick up her nephews. They're a little older, but they were still really nice to my brother. She called up her friends with kids. It wasn't a ton of people, but it was way more than before. All thanks to her. My little brother was so happy, playing in the jumper with her nephews and brothers. They were all play wrestling with him. He had such a good time. It was nice that everyone came and was being so nice to him, but I'm also just super grateful to my girlfriend because she made it happen. I was watching her the whole time, going, wow, I want to marry this woman. She's the one for me. Now I'm literally browsing online for engagement engagement rings. Some comments people pulled. Your little brother was playing with his future family. I love this. Gave me all the feels. I wish you the best life ever. Make sure you have her back, my bro. Good women can greatly improve every aspect of your life. As someone who recently had his 5-year-old not have anyone show up to his birthday party and saw him get crushed, yeah, she not just pulled off something amazing, but may have made a life-changing difference. Now, how are you going to learn what her ring size is, brother? OP's response, I'm sorry to hear about that. It's a really heartbreaking feeling, especially for a little kid. Hope you guys were able to do something to cheer him up. My dad and I were thinking of taking him somewhere, so we didn't focus on that, but luckily my girlfriend came to the rescue. That is a good question. I don't know if I could just take one of the rings she already has. She's got a bunch of them, and find a place I could maybe figure out the size. If anyone's got ideas on how to figure this out covertly, I'm open to hearing it. So the update. So this happened June 20th of 2022, this year, and this update came July. So less than a month later, July 6th, less than a month later. Update. My girlfriend did the sweetest thing for my brother, and now I know she's the one. She said yes. I proposed to her on Sunday after we decided to go on a camping trip. Y'all, she would not even let me finish my speech that I've spent all week practicing for nothing. LOL. I know some of you were telling me ways to figure out her ring size without her getting suspicious, but I just wasn't built for that level of stealth, so I brought in her sister to help me. My girlfriend, oh sorry, my bad, fiance,
Yep.
was crying. I was crying. She said yes, and that's all that matters to me. She's made me the happiest guy. Seriously, I'm still beyond happy it all worked out. We haven't been able to stop smiling at each other anytime we're in the same room, and I love it, LOL. All that's left is the wedding and the rest of our lives together.
Revenge is a dish best served cold. Mine has been cooling for 10 years and counting. I, 40F, have been married to my husband, 44M, for 20 years now. We have 2 kids, 16F and 13M. My husband is what I would consider a high earner by middle class standards. 10 years ago, and by complete coincidence, I found out that my husband has been cheating on me, with men, going back as far as before we got married. We live in a small town in the south of the USA. Him coming out as gay will have consequences within the community. I believe that is the only reason he has not come out to anyone. First, here's how I found out he was cheating on me. He got sloppy, left a credit card bill, for a secret card, in the pocket of a coat. While going through it I found all the telltale signs of infidelity: payments to a hotel in a nearby county, restaurant bills, gifts, flowers, protection, Uber rides. I started camping outside the hotel on days he told me he would be late, and I saw him bringing different men there. I am very good at compartmentalization and have a great poker face. Comes with growing up in an abusive household, so I was able to give myself the time to cool off, and to come up with what I should do. First thing I did was getting an STD panel, since I didn't know how safe he was with his partners. It came out negative. Then I convinced him that we should use protection. Since I was having side effects from the pill, he was okay with it. I thought long and hard, and I came up to the decision that I was not going to confront him, nor was I going to leave him. He was able to provide me a really good lifestyle, one that I would never be able to afford with my high school diploma. We had a cleaning lady, a nanny to help with the kids, regular spa days and a country club, a new car every other year, luxury family vacations every year. He was a good dad, a good partner, the cheating aside, and really good in bed. But I was not going to let him have a single guilt-free week in his life. That would be my revenge. I started small, planning great date nights for us, telling him that I felt our relationship has cooled, that I wanted the spark back. Then I would sometimes slip into conversation some tea about a cheating husband, or compliment the only gay couple we know for having the courage of being real men, who were out and proud of themselves. Subtle hints, not too obvious that he'd suspect I know. On the other hand, I would praise him as the perfect husband to anyone and everyone, especially if he was in earshot. The amount of guilt gifts I got was astounding. The man was even sending me flowers weekly. It continued the same way for years. I could literally see how much it was weighing on him. Me? Well, my parents were part of a commune with the concept of free love. I was the same. I just considered myself in an open marriage. It seems that cheating is easier to ignore if you are not that big on monogamy in the first place. And my husband was keeping me satisfied, so I felt no need to find a partner of my own. Then 4 years ago, I guess he met the love of his life. He started seeing just the one guy. I was seriously thinking of ending the whole thing, especially since I have started a business by then, and was able to bring in enough money to support myself and my kids, while maintaining my lifestyle. But then he went and introduced his side piece to us. He brought him into our house, introduced him to our kids, and that was enough for me to keep tormenting him. Apparently he was a new friend he made while golfing. He started hinting at moving to another state, coincidentally one where it would be easier for him to come out. I refused. I told him that my business was here, and I was not going to start over in another state. Also the kids had their friends and extended family here. It would be unfair to uproot them. Then he started trying to start arguments. I guess he wanted us to fight. Then for me to ask for a divorce. I just stopped all those arguments in their tracks. I would just agree with whatever he said. He was right, I was wrong. And to make it up to him, how about a nice dinner and some bedroom fun time? He hated that but had to pretend he loved it. I knew from spying on his phone that doing things with me felt like cheating on his boyfriend. The audacity of this man. I also knew that his boyfriend was pressuring him to leave me almost every day. He was stuck between a rock and a hard place. He started drinking, and when it got too heavy, that was when I decided that enough was enough. I wanted to ruin his life, not his health. Also, I grew up with an alcoholic father, and did not want that for my kids. So I gathered all the evidence of his infidelity over the last 9 years. Photos with different men, conversations, his Grindr profile, everything. Then I hired a divorce attorney, and mailed the evidence to his employer. He has a morality clause in his contract, and adultery breaks it. All his relatives, including parents, as well as our church. It was like a bomb exploded. He was fired. The congregation turned on him, for cheating, not for being gay. His parents wouldn't take him in after I kicked him out. And he was shamed publicly. Gotta love that small town gossip mill. And the cherry on the top? His boyfriend was run out of the town, and he couldn't follow him because he wanted to fight for custody of our kids. Now almost a year later, I am a free woman. I got to keep the house, my car and my business. He got 75% of the retirement and investments accounts, but he won't be paying alimony. I got full custody. He got visitations. I also got child support. He had to move 6 hours away to find a new job. Couldn't put the last job he worked at his whole life as a reference. His relationship with his family is rocky. His reputation in town is ruined. The love of his life left him for good, and my kids only tolerate him because I did my best to shield them, and to tell them that he is still a good father to them. I also made sure to treat him politely, never talked bad about him, and had a lengthy talk about how their father being gay is okay, it's who he is and that it was not his fault, that the only wrong thing he did was hiding it from me. So I guess the results of his lengthy history of cheating was years of guilt followed by a ruined life. To me that sounds like the perfect revenge.
Best friend told my parents that I lost my V card because she was jealous. 2 months ago, I started dating a new guy at our high school. He was the new guy in school and every girl wanted to be with him, including my best friend. Now, before this, my best friend and I had never had any problems between us. She never showed herself to be envious or jealous of me, so I trusted her. And I literally told this girl everything. The new guy started showing me a lot of attention. He followed me on Instagram and DM'd me right away. Apparently, I reminded him of his ex, who he was obsessed with. One morning, my best friend and I are hanging out before class starts. The new guy walks up to us, says good morning to us both, and then asks me if he could talk to me privately. That's when my best friend says, "You can talk in front of me. I'm her best friend and she trusts me." So then he proceeded to ask me out in front of her. The look on her face was terrifying. She was so pissed off. Of course I said yes and he walked away. That's when my best friend said, "Oh my god, he's kind of ugly. Did you smell his breath? It stinks really bad. Why would you ever go out with that guy?" Then she says, "You better not go out with him." Her too. When she said, "You better not go out with him or I'll tell your parents," I looked at her and said, "You wouldn't dare." She's like, "You're right, I wouldn't." By the way, my parents were very strict. They'd never let me go out on dates, much less have a boyfriend. The weekend comes around and I'm getting prepared for my date. So I told my parents that I was going to be with my best friend the entire weekend. And of course, they believe me. I send her a text message saying, "Hey, I told my parents I'm going to be with you. So if they ask you, you got to cover for me." She says, "Of course I will." I go on the date with the new guy and it was so much fun. For the first time ever, I was treated like a girl. He held my hand, he was kissing my neck, and he paid for everything. Like I said, up until that point, I'd never really had an experience like that. I was falling for him quick. We'd gone to watch a movie and at the movie theater he started kissing me. Of course I kissed him back. That's when he asked me if I wanted to go back to his house because his parents weren't home. And I said yes. As we're driving to his house, I was so excited. So I texted her out of excitement telling her that I was going to be going back to his house. She replied and told me that I was a slut and that I was being too easy. She even asked me to send her a picture of what I was wearing, which I did. Then she replied, "You'd look like a slut." Then we got to his house and we started making out again. Part 3 is up. That's when we started doing the dirty in his room. All while my best friend is slut-shaming me. Could hear her messages come in as we're on his bed. I grab my phone and silence it and see that I have about 20 text messages from her. I read the first one and it said, "You better not be effing him right now, or I will tell your parents." But of course I ignored them. I was doing it with this guy. But to be honest, it ended pretty quickly. As I'm getting dressed, he says, "Do you need me to drop you off at your best friend's, or can you stay and have dinner with me?" This boy was trying to cook me dinner. Of course I said yes. I text my best friend and tell her, "Why are you being so mean?" I told her that nothing happened, but she wouldn't believe me. That's when I told her that he was going to make me dinner at his house, and this is when she got even angrier. She said, "Why is he making you dinner? What did you do to have to get that dinner?" I told her nothing and she wouldn't leave me alone. That's when she started calling my phone. Of course I didn't answer. 3 minutes later, I get a call from my mom. I answered right away and pretended to be at my best friend's. And that's when my mom told me that my best friend called her and told her the truth. So I couldn't lie anymore. Took me to my parents' house and they were furious. My parents told this boy that he has to marry me. He literally ran away. I ran out of time. Part 4 will be up soon.
The creepiest thing that happened to me while I was working at a senior living facility. I'm in the parking lot at work and I'm getting ready because I didn't have time in the morning, but I bought tickets to this show, Alvin Ailey, with my coworker, but it doesn't start until like 7:30 and I'm not gonna drive an hour home and an hour back, you know? So I'm just gonna wait until she's off and we're gonna go shopping, but I'm gonna get ready in the meantime. So a few years ago, I was working as a concierge at this senior living facility, and it was like a really, really fancy place. It cost like $5,000 to $6,000 a month to stay there. It was more like nice little apartments, but in a big facility. So I worked from 2 to 12 in the morning, so 2 p.m. to 12 in the morning, and it was cool. It was actually a really chill job. I would show up, do work for like an hour, and then for the next 7 hours, I would just chill and watch Netflix the whole time. I hate when people pull up to me like there's a whole parking lot. Why do you have to pull up right next to my freaking car? So there was this one resident, and his name was Ted, and he was like 6'5", and I swear he was like 400 or 500 pounds. Like, this dude was tall and huge. And the girls all there had told me to watch out for him because apparently he had been caught taking pictures of a waitress who was bending over during dinner service, and also he had been caught taking pictures of like a resident's guest under her skirt one time. And so he was on thin ice, and everyone was like, he's really creepy, watch out for him. I also got to experience that because whenever I was working and he was around, like maybe after dinner or whatever, he would stop by and then he would ask me like weird personal questions and ask me like when the other girl was working. And even after I had answered the questions or kind of like deflected, he would just stand there like this, watching me. Even if I was like doing other stuff, not making eye contact, he would just stand there and just like watch me for like this for like a good 5 minutes. It was so uncomfortable. Sometimes I would have to get up and pretend like I had something to do and like walk away from the desk because he would just sit there and watch. One night he went out, and on weekends he would usually go out somewhere, but it's not my business. I mind the business that pays me. But when he would come back, he would call so that I could open the gate, and I just knew I was gonna have to deal with him because he could not make the walk from the parking lot to his room in one go. So he would stop right in front of me and sit in the chairs or like lean against the desk and just like be like breathing heavy and asking me questions and talking to me, and I just did not want to deal with it that night. So the resident Ted, who's like 6'5" and like 500 pounds, he goes out one night and he comes back, and I can see him coming, and at this point I know he's creepy and he creeps me out, and he always tries to talk to me, and he's already been caught taking pictures of girls like butts and stuff who work there. So I'm just like, I don't want to deal with him. I don't want to deal with him tonight. So I leave my desk and go to the pool room, which is like right next to it, and in there have these 2 bathrooms. But the thing about these bathrooms is that they don't have locks. They're just like swing open doors, and then inside there's a stall with a lock. I'm thinking, okay, I'm just gonna wait him out. It should be about like 15 minutes. He'll come in, he'll sit down, take his little break that he needs to take, and then make his way upstairs to his room. So I wait like 10-15 minutes, and then I'm like, okay, it should be good. I open the door, y'all, and he is literally standing right there outside of the bathroom door. He doesn't say a single word, and he's just peering down at me. He's like 6'5", I'm like 5'4.5", and he's blocking the whole doorway. Like, I could not get by if I wanted to. I was super shocked to see him, and I was just like, oh, hey, Ted. And he doesn't say a single word. He's just watching me, and you can kind of tell when someone's thinking something, and you can tell what they're thinking. And what he was thinking, I was like, it's not good. Like, I felt like he was thinking about doing something and trying to see if he could get away with it, kind of thing. Also, it was like 10 p.m. and honestly by like 8 p.m. all the residents are in their rooms. All other staff is gone. It is literally just me. So it's always super creepy and dead at night. Plus, in the pool room, the pool is heated, so it's loud, and if I was to scream or anything happened, no one would hear me. Oh my god, I forgot my freaking powder. My eyes are gonna crease. I don't know what to do. So I'm just like, excuse me, Ted. And he inches slowly like away from the door, but like kind of sideways so that I could pass by, but only the tiniest bit so that my body would have to like press against his slowly to get through. Now, I have patience and I'm really calm and like nice most of the time, but once I'm angry and once I see red, that's all I see. I don't care about anything else, and the rage just comes out of me. So I was like, ew, disgusting. I'm not about to fucking do that. So I was like, excuse me, Ted. And I like gave him hella attitude, and I was about to ready to like square up if he wasn't gonna move. But luckily, he moved finally out of the way, and I like ran my ass back over to the table. So yeah, that was the creepiest thing. It wasn't ghosts or anything else. It was that creep Ted.
Back from Tulum, had a phone call with my mother, maybe a 20-minute phone call this morning, and she managed to just like irritate my soul a little bit. Beauty filter was on and that felt weird for me. It's like, babes, your skin doesn't look that good. Mind you, my mom is like, she was like, don't go to Mexico, like don't go. Like she's like, I hate when you travel, I hate it so much. I'm there. The bitch never texts me. Does not even text me once to check in on me. I'm like, okay, that's like a really weird thing for a woman who was like so worried that I was going to Mexico. And when she did text me, want to know what the fuck she said? She goes, your friend Nicole is so pretty. I'm like, yeah, like she's gorgeous, but like you could have asked me how my trip, like even anything. She's just like, Nicole is so gorgeous. And I'm like, yeah, mom, she is. But like, I'm safe. Like I made it to Tulum. But this morning I was telling my mom, I was like, yeah, I'm going to LA May 1st through the 8th, which like I'm going to LA. So like, okay, what I meant by that was, if you're a photographer, you want to shoot, you know I'm down, like, let's hang when I'm in LA. Like, let me know I haven't been to LA in years, like, since I lived there briefly. Ugh, dark time. But I told her that, and she's like, you should really bring your sister with you. Like, Sissy. She's like, you should really bring Sissy with you. I'm like, why the fuck would I bring Sissy to LA with me? I'm going for, like, work stuff. And she was like, I don't know, I just think it'd be good, like, if you brought your sister. And I'm like, Mom, this is not, like, I'm bringing Sissy. Like, why is it making it feel like I'm 12 years old and I have to bring Sissy to the sleepover? And I told Sissy that, and she's like, I don't want to go to LA. I'm like, well, Mom thinks I need to fucking bring you. And she's like, no, I'm not going to LA. And this morning, she has a group chat of my sister and, like, my cousins and I, and she sends motivational quotes every morning. I'd be lying to you if I said it wasn't on mute. Yeah, I muted the fucking group chat because she sends like 35 Pinterest quotes a day, and I'm like, I just can't deal. And like, I'm an honest ass bitch about it. I'm like, Mom, like I just like can't fucking deal with like 35 Pinterest quotes at 7 a.m. Like that's just not my vibe. Really, Mom? Like I'm good. But she got mad at me this morning and she was like, Olivia, like I put those in there for you because like those are you. Like those quotes just remind me so much of you. And like nobody, like everyone else responds and you don't respond. I go, Mom, well, I don't give a fuck. She was like, Olivia, that's so disrespectful. I'm like, Mom, then just send them directly to me. Like why are we putting them in a group chat of like 50 people and it's just about me? Like send it directly to me. Also a little bit rude for everybody else in the group chat, and they're gonna watch this TikTok and be like, what the fuck, Dina? Like why are you just like, these are just about Livy? And they're like just like Michael Jordan quotes too. And I'm like, okay, like why do I remind you of Michael Jordan? Like, babe, what about me is giving Michael fucking Jordan? You guys are like, where's the green stuff? Where's the green stuff? I'm doing like a no makeup look because I'm so gorgeously tan from Tulum that like, she did send me a very funny meme about like getting fucked earlier this week. My mother did. Like it's so absurd. And I put it on my Instagram story and she got so mad. She was like, Olivia, you cannot post these things on your Instagram story. So I'm going to post it again for you guys to go look. So like, go, like, it's actually really funny because it's like, your mother sent you this? It's like, that was just crazy. But I'm back from Tulum and she's blowing my phone up.
What's the saddest way the popular kids at school became unpopular after school ended? I was a nerd in high school. I was occasionally bullied, but being 6'2" and about 200 pounds, probably saved me from a lot of that. Still, I was socially awkward and not at all cool. My family didn't have a lot of money, so I didn't have stylish clothes or a car. The couple I remember were the head cheerleader and a basketball star. The boy wasn't captain of the basketball team, and our basketball team was very good that year, nearly clinching the California State Championship. But that was mainly because the player who was the captain was the son of the basketball coach. The cheerleader's boyfriend was a much better player. Neither the basketball player nor the cheerleader were mean to me in school. We didn't interact very much, but what passed between us was cordial enough. By the way, the cheerleader was drop-dead gorgeous in a wholesome sort of way, and the basketball player handsome. They were the picture-perfect couple you see in movies. As it happened, only 3 members of my high school class made it to the state college where I eventually graduated. Me, the cheerleader, and the basketball star. They might have had plans to continue the romance when they applied, but by the time school started, they were no longer a couple. All 3 of us lived in the dormitories, which shared a dining commons. I would see them almost every day. The basketball player distinguished himself the first week by wearing his high school Letterman jacket to class. This practice didn't last long, as he quickly learned how uncool it was to try and relive your high school glory days when you were in college. The cheerleader just seemed kind of lost. She went to the parties and drank too much. She struggled to make friends. She didn't seem like she belonged there. I would often see her sat in a corner on her own reading a book or watching movies. I guess years of being treated like a queen in high school does that to a person. Toward the end of the school year, there was a formal dance for the students. Attendance was all but mandatory, and you couldn't come on your own. I had to recruit a mercy date from one of my lab partners. She was a good sport about it. A couple of weeks afterward, I saw the cheerleader in the dining commons, and it occurred to me that she hadn't attended the dance. I asked her why, and she replied, "No one asked me. I was hoping you would." How far we had fallen. The cheerleader was hoping the nerd would ask her to the dance. I never realized that I was basically the only person she knew on campus. The only person that could take her to the dance, apart from her ex, the basketball player. She didn't know a single soul well enough apart from me. I told her it never occurred to me that she would have the smallest interest in going with me. I think that was the last conversation I ever had with her. She didn't return to school the next year, and I have no idea what became of her. The basketball star quit his studies after 2 years and wound up teaching PE and coaching basketball at our old high school. Quite sad what became both of them.
Girlfriend, 25 female, bit by a monkey, now experiencing symptoms. 2 weeks ago, we went into the Amazon rainforest and a wild monkey bit my girlfriend, 25, biological female, when she tried petting it. We didn't think much of it and kept going on with our lives. Last Monday, she started feeling discomfort in her jaw, which soon evolved into pain when she tried opening it. Now she has a headache and feels tension and electricity in her trapezius muscle and her neck. I think she might have tetanus, but her jaw pain may also be caused by a bad movement. Should we be worried? She doesn't smoke. She's about 5'5", weighs 154 pounds, doesn't take any medication, and probably hasn't had a Tdap shot in the last 10 years.
What was the muscle that he talked about?
The trapezius.
See, I don't know the trapezius. I feel like he's already a doctor. I feel like he has a leg up. He doesn't need to be on the ass doctors.
I feel like they just Googled like muscles on the back of your neck.
Right.
How do you work out? How do you not know what your traps are?
Oh, I guess that's your traps.
Yeah, your traps.
Yeah, I work out. Hell yeah. No, yeah, your traps. Okay, cool. Yes, your trapezius. That makes sense. Traps, trapezius.
Yeah. Traps
wouldn't be the medical word. That makes a lot of sense. Probably want to use real medical words on the ass doctors.
Yeah.
Is there any resolution to this one? This is one where I'm more interested in, like, is there a resolution?
Yeah.
Does somebody get to the bottom of what's going on with this woman's face?
Yeah, luckily these people have a bunch of physicians on this subreddit, so it was locked after they got a lot of advice from physicians. The top one being, please go to your nearest emergency department right away. Which, I'm sorry. First of all, don't fucking pet monkeys in wild places.
Right.
Especially the Amazon rainforest.
Don't just walk up to the monkey.
Come on, let's be a little smarter here.
Right.
Let's be a little smarter. And like, you got bit. Wouldn't you immediately then be like, I got bit by a fucking monkey in the Amazon. I need to go to a doctor and make sure my tetanus and rabies is up to date.
I wouldn't just continue on with the vacation if a wild animal bit me. I'd probably be like, you know what? I should go see somebody. At least say something to somebody at the hotel. Be like, hey, a monkey bit me. Like, I don't know if it's that bad. Like, maybe I should go get checked out. Like, just tell somebody that I'm not with.
This one blows my mind.